If you're running a SaaS company and you're not consistently booking demos, cold email might be your biggest untapped channel. But here's the thing, most cold emails suck. They're generic, mistargeted, and get deleted without a second glance. So I'm here to show you what actually works and actually books demos. So why do most cold email campaigns fail? Cold email is actually one of the most direct ways to reach decision makers. Um, Yet most SaaS startups struggle to generate anything meaningful. The problem isn't the channel; it's really the approach. Most SaaS companies are sending generic messages that are sent to like broadly defined audiences, and that usually creates a lot of noise and opportunity. I've helped a lot of 20 plus B2B SaaS startups, but qualified demos using cold email, not by just sending more volume, but by using buyer psychology, relevant messaging, and laser focused targeting. So this isn't based on theory. I'll walk you through what we actually do and how you can apply it today. A hard truth is that your prospect receives dozens of cold emails daily, if not hundreds. Without a strategy that address their specific challenges and mindset, your messaging pretty much gets deleted or marked as spam, typically ignored. So here's an example of like the strategy we use is psychographic targeting. A lot of mistakes founders make is they target too broadly. So like they just focus on CTOs or like marketing teams. But what really makes it effective is when we find an intersection of role, the problem, and the mindset, which we call psychographic targeting. So for example, one is compliance-driven finance leaders. Um, these executives like lose sleep over potential audit surprises. They're trying to risk mitigate. Some of their biggest fears are compliance gaps that results in like penalties or like their reputation being damaged. Operation leaders are trying to scale without breaking their systems. So they have anxiety about their systems breaking down as the company grows. Founders that are focused on GTM, they're frustrated by anything that slows their growth. Some of their key triggers are like technical or compliance issues that prevents their revenue growth. So not just targeting the job title, but the specific problem and the psychology behind that role. And then you could get even deep into that where we could segment them by industry. We can segment them by like headcount, their specific department, what kind of technology stack they use, and it goes on. So if we break down like kind of the anatomy of what's a converting cold email, it typically starts out with some kind of specific trigger. Um, you could say this is kind of just a example, like saw you launch your Series A, congrats. That kind of just personalizes it to a specific prospect. But what I like to do is based on like a specific trigger, like saw you're hiring for this specific role, like a finance role. Um, it shows more relevance, and then you could go on to like sharing a problem or a trigger. Um, Teams at this stage usually hit a wall or outbound with outbound or sales tax compliance, depending on the product. So this just shows that like based on that trigger event, teams usually hit a wall. So, and then you come in with your offer, positioning it with a unique mechanism. This way, your messaging really shows that you're not just another solution among all your competitors, but you have a unique way of achieving so and so result or outcome. And then you want to back that up with a specific proof point. So like a specific case study, like a client found 15K in overpaid tax in 30 days. So this establishes credibility, social proof, and some evidence that your offer does in fact work. And then for the call to action, you don't want to like ask for like a 30-minute call right away. What we like to do is we ask like, can we send over a 2-minute video of how it works? Or you can ask them like, can I send over like some kind of lead magnet? In this case, like a GTM doc, so that you provide value up front. It's like low friction and you nurture the lead from there. This is like a cold email template you could use, kind of pretty much what we went over. You want to keep the email under 150 words. Ideally, if you can make it even shorter, it could even work better. Some other forms of emails I've used is not like this typical cold email template, but just like a one question liner where you ask something relevant or to qualify the prospect or understand them better, and then just continue the conversation. So conversational route actually works really well too because it creates a pattern break. Um, yeah, and then ultimately, like your messaging could be solid, your targeting can be solid, but if your emails are not actually delivered into the inbox, um, that is just a waste of time and your money. So things like we want to keep the bounce rate under 3%, ideally under 1%, to be honest. You want to send like around from like, let's say 10 to 15 inboxes. If you want to scale that further, obviously you add more domains. You want to probably have at least 2 to 3 inboxes per domain and then send like max 20 to 30 per inbox. We've conservatively even dropped down to like as low as like 10 to 5 in cases where we want to maximize deliverability. And then another thing with lead data accuracy, you want to validate all those emails and make sure they're actually real emails wherever you pull them from. Um, some great sending platforms are Instantly Smart Lead, where they give you unlimited inboxes, allow you warm inboxes, and it automates the sending process and the follow-up process. Obviously, you want to set up proper SPF, DKIM, DMARC records for all your domains. And then some of these sources are like Apollo, Clay, like Cognizant. And you want to make sure when you pull from those databases, you use a validation tool so that you make sure these emails are in fact correct. Otherwise, you will have a bounce rate above like 3%. And before you ever send from your email accounts, you want to gradually increase them after warming up for at least about 2 to 3 weeks. So here's like a real world case study that we had. We helped a B2B SaaS company that was in the fintech space. They were at like about 4 mil ARR when we started, and now they have like $100 million valuation. They were pretty much getting no demos through their outbound, and it's because their messaging was very generic. It wasn't very targeted, and it it wasn't very specific enough. And when we approached from a more trigger-based standpoint, laser focus on the targeting and approach with a position to offer with a unique mechanism, that's when we're able to see book demos and consistency every month for them. Some common pitfalls to avoid is generic value propositions like we save time and money, improve efficiency. Instead, you want to articulate like some kind of specific measurable outcome. So like a quantifiable outcome is a big thing. So like having numbers like reduce tax preparation time from 15 hours to 2 hours is like a clear outcome rather than we optimize tax preparation or we help with tax preparation. Obviously you don't want to ask them for like a 30-minute call right away. That creates resistance. So giving some kind of value upfront or some kind of low friction offer is a great way to start nurturing and starting that conversation with that prospect. Another thing is once you reply to them and send them the video over or lead magnet, you want to consistently follow up, touch base, and see if they have any other questions in order to eventually book them in. Yeah. Yeah. Another thing is you don't want to over automate everything. You want to just generate all the emails through AI. Although you can do that, there is a big element of using human judgment in order to do that. I'll probably create a separate video on how to generate cold emails and do the targeting with ChatGPT as well. But it's not something you could just do with like one prompt and then just get everything you need. So building your cold email engine. Week 1, you do all the research and targeting, create clear psychographic profiles. You probably want to build a much bigger list than 100, 200. You want to create some messaging, A/B test different pain points and value propositions. A 5-step email sequence is if you're more targeting like a smaller TAM and enterprise accounts, but typically toward like the SMB and mid-market, I aim for like 2-step email sequence. And then it's just a period of testing. You want to send a lot more than 15 to 20. And you want to track your reply rates, see if there's good deliverability, and your positive reply rates, and then whether you're actually booking meetings. And then once you find what kind of angles, what kind of targeting works really well, you want to double down on that and then try to scale that, add more inboxes, push volume once you find a winning angle. So cold emails isn't just about volume, it's about precision. And it's really true that you're better off sending like 100 highly targeted emails rather than like 10,000 like generic ones even. So from email to revenue, how to maximize your demo conversion? You want to send like a detailed agenda 24 hours before the call. You want to send like reminders, send them case studies, and you want to keep the demo relevant to your email thread and your conversation. This is more of like the sales process. Send them personalized summaries. A lot of there's like Fathom and Fireflies that record your calls, and you can send them like an AI summary of what you talked about and have clear next steps with them. So thanks for watching this video. If you want the full GTM doc that maps this out more specifically in detail, with psychographic targeting, cold email copy, the deliverability stack, I'll send it over for free, no strings attached. Just drop a comment below saying like GTM, or just hit the description in the link, and then I'll send it right over.